Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Very excited to share this conversation with you all. Uh, just a little bit of introduction. So, on the 7th of June, we're going to be offering a fasting retreat in Glasgow. As far as I am aware of, this is the first time something like this will be offered in Glasgow. You would usually have to go to somewhere in Europe or India to experience this. So we're actually bringing it home. So how this has came about has kind of Anthony and I have spoke about this before. How good would it be to actually do a fast together? And then it grew kind of arms and legs. I've just finished my yoga teacher training, so I figured, I would actually be able to hold the space to have basically a yoga
Excellent.
teacher on board
Mhm.
for morning stretches, morning sessions, and just to bring that sort of energy and that passion into this, which will basically give it another dimension. So it's not just a water fasting; it's a yoga retreat essentially
Mhm.
that we're going to be offering. Um,
Yoga meaning union,
Yoga meaning
and
union, so it's going to be
I
very
hope
like
you find
beginner orientated, basic stuff. I'll be talking about bringing like balance into the body through some postures, balance into the mind, how we can use meditation and chanting. I'm sure a lot of people will be versed in this already, but just it's open to everyone. We want this sense of inclusivity, so that like let's talk about fasting. Let's talk about the importance of fasting. And I think this is where Anthony's passion and experience will really come into play. So, Anthony, do you think you could share a little bit about your experiences with fasting and the benefits of fasting that you've experienced or that you want to share?
yeah,
And
yeah.
before you start, I'd just
So
like to say, for me personally, I've experienced fasting up to 72 hours, but I've never really gone past that because I've not had a supportive environment and it's always been on me. It's always
so
been on me.
important.
And this is where, so I'm really excited to be part of this because I'll be in this journey with everyone as well. It's going to be a beautiful journey. I'm so excited. Anyway, Anthony, give us a wee kind of fasting 101.
Okay, cool. Thanks everyone. I'm Anthony. So I've actually, yeah. So one of the things you mentioned there is the importance of having that womb, that like sportive environment where everyone else is doing it. The benefits of fasting have been in the media recently, and a lot of people have taken up what's called intermittent fasting, which is eating within a limited window of about 8 hours. But actually, fasting is a process that the body recognizes. What you'll notice is that when animals get sick, they fast drinking only water. And when children are young, when they want to eat, they'll refuse food. But then their mum will come along and say, oh, you better eat. You've got to get your strength back. And that's not actually true. If you live in a Western country, you've got enough reserves to last for 2 to 3 months. So no one's going to starve for missing a couple of meals. Now, obviously, I wouldn't recommend anyone fast for 2 to 3 months. Although Buddha allowed to Jesus apparently all fasted for 40 days. I've not done 40 days myself. As you can see, I'm pretty lean, but I've been on two supervised fasts of 21 days. That's quite a lot. 3 weeks, only water. I've done 2 weeks co-supervised with other experienced fasters. And before all that, I did 11 days on my own, 8 days, and shorter fasts. Why would I do that? Why would I fast for so long? Well, as I said, explained to you, with intermittent fasting, you're getting a 16-hour time of not eating where your digestion's off. Because the body recognizes fasting as a healing process, the longer you stay in the fast, the deeper that process can go. Doing a short fast is a little bit like, you give the living room a quick clean in a way where if your guests came over, they'd be like, oh, this place looks nice. But of course, if they pick up the rug, if they pick up the table, they'll find that you've left a bunch of stuff under there and it's dusty and things. So you just gave it a quick clean. fasting for a longer period of time, as long as you do it safely and appropriately, can give you a much better clean than that because your body will start with the fluids, the blood, the saliva, the lymph, and then it'll go on to the organ level, and then it'll go deeper into the cellular level. So you would say that if you perhaps um doing more than doing the fourth day of a 4 day fast may be more powerful than the other 3 days put together. It really depends on you and your body and what you've been putting in your body and things like that. That being said, I know 7 days on water only is not for everyone. So depending on your needs, I would have a conversation with you and also your experience level, and we'd come up with a protocol that's suitable for you. So you could go on juices like this watermelon juice I've got here
Cool.
in the first day or two or the last day or two. And of course, if at any time um, you wanted to come off the fast, we could just put you on juices if you
Can
were
I
worried
just
about
can
that.
I just ask you, so you have
But
fasted in this sort of group setting before, where there's
mhm,
other people
right,
fasting?
right.
Can you talk
That
about
was for
that?
my yeah, exactly. It's important because if you go out there into the world, people will tell you they're crazy. You're crazy. You don't know. They don't know about the benefits of fasting. I should tell you myself, obviously, I'm not allowed to say, oh, it's going to cure this or it's going to cure that, because that's not how the law works. You're not allowed to say things like that, and maybe that's responsible because you can't predict that it's going to cure anything. What I would say is that I personally have reversed skin conditions. I personally have improved my digestion. I have increased my tolerance for foods that I wasn't tolerant for. You know, a lot and things like that. I've seen my buffer for foods that don't really suit my body increase through fasting. And if you look at the logic of it, every cell in your body has to eat, breathe, um, and then breathe out and poo, the same way that your body does that. And all of those waste products from your cells gather up in the body. Like if you had the rubbish truck um, comes once a week. But if you're making more rubbish in your bins
Hmm.
than you have room for in your bins, the rubbish is going to store up in the house. So what fasting gives the body a chance to do? 50% of our energy goes to digestion. So your body starts looking for old cells, dead cells, cells that aren't that good, bacteria, parasites, and it starts eating those up instead when you go into a fast.
Yeah.
So it'll burn them for energy as well as reserves and things like that. So you've got that 50% of energy, which usually goes to digesting your food, just to go to healing and cleaning the body. Drink plenty of water, and you can wash out all the extra cellular waste that's been gathering up in your body from eating overly processed foods, eating too much
Yeah.
food, eating the wrong foods, and things like that. So that's a little bit of the logic of why this works.
I mean, of course, so I've not actually experienced like fasting with other people, but I would imagine, when you're doing it, I've done it with one person before, and it was
Mhm.
so much easier in the sense that, you know, yes, we're hungry, yes, we're going through this, but we're in it together and we're supporting
And
each other,
together.
and it's just like having that feedback that you're not alone in this suffering, this
Right.
struggling,
Thanks.
because we're so habitually in these cycles of life. We don't even know we're on this autopilot mode, and especially when it comes to eating, because eating is so important because it does fuel the body, and this is what our body is. Our body only
Mhm.
exists because of the food that
Yeah,
we've
the
actually eaten. So eating food
Mhm, mhm,
is
mhm,
like that's life. That's
mhm.
part of it. But
Yes, yes,
it's only in the
yes.
last few, like, 100 years, especially in the last 100 years, that we've organized the food system so well that it's not a question of whether we're going to go hungry. Before, it was always like there would be times
Mhm.
where there wasn't
Mhm.
food and you just had to like
Mhm.
be with that, you know what I mean? But now
Absolutely.
we have to actually engineer the situations for us.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we'll just keep doing it. And why do you think we've got so
Right.
much disease in the world? It's one of the main reasons is because we don't give our bodies a chance to
Yes,
repair and heal on that cellular level, which is so
that is so
important.
true. And just let me make one quote on that point. There's an ancient quote from ancient Greece that goes, "A man lives on